Okay, everybody, welcome to the Tuesday evening class, Mastering the Middle Game. Middle game, it's a very important part of the game. It's when you finish the opening, you sort of make all the natural moves, pieces are out, and then you need to find a plan, which is difficult. A lot of times you don't know where to start from. Improve the placement of the pieces, go for a direct attack, what to do, trade some pieces. So it's not easy basically. So let's take a look at this game, because I feel like this game we got into an equal position out of the opening, and then later slowly I tried to improve my position in middle game by finding better moves. Slowly I managed to get a win in this game. My opponent is a very strong grandmaster, Julio Becerra, and this game was played in 2014. We played a match between each other. It was in Lawrence, Kansas. So yeah, he's a good player and he's very strong with white. So e4, e6. So we have which opening? French defense. And I played this opening for 27 years. So, I have some good results here. It didn't serve me very well in the last year's championship. I lost 2 games, but overall it's been a pretty solid opening for me. It served me well. And knight f6. So knight c3 he plays. What is the name of this line? This is the classical. So knight c3 is the classical. So that's what happened. Knight f6. There are a couple of different ways to play here. You can play bishop b4, the winnover. You can play knight f6, put pressure on e4. You can play d takes e4. You can play the Rubinstein. You can play this knight f6 move. He has 2 options. He can play e5, attacking my knight, or he can play bishop g5. So he goes bishop g5, d takes e4, knight takes e4, knight bd7, knight f6. And now what move did I play here? I know this is part of the opening still, but I want to give you a chance to try to find the best move here.
Bishop e7?
You could go bishop e7. Yeah, that's possible. What else we have? You?
e6.
b6, yeah, but then bishop b5, yeah? You're a little bit risky. Guys, b6 is a very risky move. Bishop b5 comes in and you're getting all pinned up, The pin is very annoying, so what you need to try to do here is unpin the pin, okay? So how about we try to question the bishop and ask him, attacking him, and to see what is he going to do. h6, questioning the bishop. Now he goes check. And now he's got 3 options, bishop h4, bishop e3, bishop takes f6. All 3 of them are playable, but they lead to different type of positions. So I play bishop e3, very principled move. Very principled move to try to see what to do, like in this position. So now knight d5 was played before. I played this myself against a couple of very high profile players, against Hikaru Nakamura, Etienne Bacro, a few other names, all 2700 players. So it tends to be a little bit risky though. You're moving the same piece twice while you're not developed. So I didn't play that anymore. So I switched to a little bit more solid reply here. So from here on, I'm going to ask you to find the remaining moves of this game. Let's see if you can find logical, good moves, slowly improve the position, slowly, and try to defeat this very strong grandmaster. First, what's the first priority here? Yes? To do what?
Castle.
To castle. Perfect. So we identify the first priority here is to develop our pieces to castle. Which piece is on the way here that is preventing us from castling? You.
Bishop b6.
Excellent thinking, yes. Developing bishop to a good active square. And now getting ready to castle. Bishop d3. b6. What is the biggest problem in a French defense, guys? You heard me saying this many times probably. Light square bishop. So when we get a chance, we want to activate this bishop, or perhaps to trade it. So we play b6 with idea bishop 2. We play b6 with idea bishop b7. Knight e5. He's activating his knight, trying to put some pressure.
B7 now.
Bishop b7, there's a little issue. He goes bishop b5 check.
Castle?
Castle. Oh, sorry, actually, I played bishop b7. Apparently, I was not too worried about the check. Check is, although wasting more time, so we can just move the king, and a lot of time is wasted. So he goes queen e2, castle, castle.
I was thinking bishop b7 to prevent knight c6.
Yeah, it's possible he might be able to do that. Now, castle, and what to do? Here, we need to try to attack him, to put pressure. He's feeling very strong. He's feeling very strong in the center here, so try to put as much pressure as possible. Yes?
C5.
Excellent job. That's part of the plan, this Rubinstein variation that I'm playing, okay? It transposes sort of a Rubinstein, I didn't take only 4 right away, so the c5 is important move to attack it. If he takes, by the way, this is a problem for him, because we take the knight. Yes, he does have this check, which could look a little scary, for a moment. But no problem, we take. He takes out a queen, we take. And at the end of the day, we have a lot of development. So that's the possibilities we have to try to do, okay? Any questions? All right. So that's why tactically we could make this work, this c5 move. So he cannot take here. Yes?
What was the problem when bishop takes d2 on the last move?
Right here? Oh, yeah. Are you going to do that, really? With a rook here? With a king here? It could be not a problem. It could be a suicide. Look at that now. Look at the position of your king. That's what we call in chess. What we call when you take a pawn like that and you lose. What kind of pawn is it? We have a nice term for that.
Poison pawn.
Excellent, yes. So you understand? That's called poison pawn. A lot of times people take a pawn, they think they're going to win later, but that's a poison pawn. Understand? Don't never take that kind of pawns. Guys, never take that kind of pawns. Okay? So he goes c5. He goes knight c4. Grandmaster Becerra is putting pressure on my knight. My bishop, I'm sorry. If I move the bishop, he's just going to take on c5, and it's just going to be difficult, a little bit position for me. Now, what should I do here? I need a good move here.
Knight d5.
Excellent. Knight d5 activating and putting pressure on the bishop. D takes c5. Now, what should we do here? How should we capture it?
Knight takes e3 first.
Very risky, no? Queen takes e3 and some x-rays could happen there. Bit too risky. Bishop takes. Your bishop is always vulnerable, so you just want to take back with your bishop. Now he goes bishop takes c5. Pawn takes. Okay, my pawns are a little bit weak, but I also have the open b file. I can activate my pieces. What we call this dynamic, dynamic equality right now going on. But I like my chances because at some point I can maybe seize the initiative. But at the moment, it's dynamic equality.
So does that mean that neither player has the initiative?
No, it's equal right now.
So that's what they
Yeah,
mean by
yeah,
dynamic
yeah.
equality.
Yeah. So this is like a pure and like this is already middle game right here. So like I knew this much basically. From here on, we're on our own. Like this knight c4. This is all middle game right now. So, and here I play the, he does have a little bit of pressure, I have to admit. Like this knight d6 is coming, bishop b4. It seems like, he might even be tiny bit better here. He might be. So the next move is very important to play because I want to make sure my position is not going to be loose. You know, and like I have bishop right now, it's unprotected. Knight d6 comes in with a tempo, and I don't like that. Always make sure your pieces are protected. In one word, you have consolidation. Okay, so now, can you combine a good developing move and protect the loose piece that you have? It's a useful move, logical move. Excellent choice, yes. Rook to b8. Now he goes rook he1. Rook he1. White is completing the development. On the other hand, what should I do? It looks like I don't have that many useful moves in this position.
Maybe activate the queen.
Activate the queen.
You move the queen to where it's not going to be.
Well, that would be nice. That would be nice to activate the queen, but I didn't have that many active squares, unfortunately. Like, you know, this knight is quite good. You know, it stops everything, protects. That's why he went queen e7. You know, it looks a little bit scary, but this is the right place for the queen indeed. So now I have flexibility now to move my knight. I can go knight b4, I can do some other things. So that gives me a flexibility. Now he goes bishop e4, trying to put ton of pressure on me now. Threatening to take only e4, bishop takes, rook takes c4, lot of pressure. Now, what should we do here? How we should try to untangle this? You know, this pressure he has on me. If you make a bad move, you could lose a piece. First, we have to identify the threat, which is bishop takes d5, takes rook d5. And then we have to take some measures against it. I was thinking maybe equalize first and then see what happens. But when I equalized, then I slowly started to improve, and then there was opportunities. So I managed to actually win this game. Strike and win it.
If you are worried about the queen where it is, you can try to trade queens with queen e6 check. I mean,
queen. Yeah, but if I was going to do that, I could probably do it at once, you know, by immediately playing queen. That's a blunder. Remember, I mentioned that.
Because the queen is unprotected.
Boom, boom, boom.
Oh yes. Yeah.
You can't take like this. Queen is hanging. You take with this, dropping a rook here. So you gotta watch out. Eh? That's pressure. That is a pressure. Yeah, that drops the rook, but it's not good anyway. So, which piece is his strongest piece that has been annoying for the past 5-6 moves? The most annoying piece and an active piece that he has. Bishop or the blocker? Or the blocker of your pawn? Aha! That is the most annoying piece. So what can we do against it, huh?
knight b5, knight b6.
Of course knight b6. When opponent has a superior piece compared to yours, right? What do you want to do?
Trade it off.
Trade it off, very simple. His piece is superior versus yours. Trade it off. Absolutely trade it off. Now he goes knight a5. He doesn't want to just trade up. This is the moment where he, I think, made a strategic error. You know, he was still trying to push, perhaps, to try to play for a win or something, but instead he should have just, you know, be happy, just exchange the pieces, and so it's equal position. So I think knight a5 is a strategical already slight error. He should take on b6, and you know, it's just probably going to be a draw. Okay, because
b6, so that would improve your pawn structure.
I know, but at least you'll see now what happened. His knight got trapped a little bit on the side of the board, because we know that knight on the rim is
Grim.
dim and grim, right? Yeah, but what I'm saying was, it looks like he's still pressing, but he's the one who is going to be in trouble, gentlemen. I took. So we are happy, right? We solved the problem of the light square bishop. He took back. And now, what is the last piece that wants to join the action? This one first. Rook here. We're keeping that for dark square. If you play this move now, why I didn't play this move? Who noticed the idea? Why I didn't play this move? It looks the most natural move here, right? But I want to complete my development a little bit different way. Why I didn't play this move? Who can see the tactic?
Oh, knight fork on c6.
Yes, excellent visualization. And that's a LPDO, loose piece drop off, right, on b8. Very good, very good. Very good job. Yeah, so he went here. Perhaps you should go back knight c4. I think this was already getting pretty serious, you know. So he played c4 actually, blocked it. And now, get the last piece into the game. And now, he was, okay, I was leading the match at the moment, so he was down by 2, so he had to perhaps try to do something. So maybe that's why he didn't want to exchange knights, otherwise he would just down by 2. So he went back here, but here I already like block, to be honest. Because his king is a little bit loose, you know, and I like to do something. So now I play the following move, rook d4, exclamation mark. Because if he takes, we take. He takes. What is the idea? Check. 1, 2, huh? How about that? Loose piece. Huh? Again, don't put your pieces on the rim. He does have this move. It's not completely losing. Now check. We take. If he takes here, we go check. He goes away. We just simply take it. So knight c4. So he has to take. Rook takes c4 check. He has to go here anyway. He cannot go away because he loses, so he has to go here, and he will just, yeah, this is a losing position because the king is very weak. Rook d4 ideas. So he goes b3, and now what should we do now? He played b3, and now this is the moment where I will take advantage of his difficult position. You know, his knight is stuck, and now we need to try to push. Now we're going for a serious advantage here. But you do need to find this idea to push his pieces back and get the complete control of the center.
How about knight d7?
Excellent move. Removing the active queen. He goes here.
Across the board with a tempo because his knight is not active.
And now what do we do? Queen d6. Activating the queen. b4. The reason he did that, I told you, yeah, when he played knight a5. Something bad happened to his knight. The knight got stuck here. The knight cannot go back, and he could simply lose it. Yeah. So he had to play the move b4, which is not fun, of course. But okay, you know, we still have to be alert. We have advantage, but it's small. It's not a big advantage, so we have to still try to, you know, play some good chess to win this. So what to do here? Think. Your rook is strong on d4, but the problem is now it's getting a little bit, you know, the position of the rook is getting a little bit loosened. So we need to try to do what? When we have a centralized piece, we need to do what, guys? Reinforce it. Reinforce it. And that's what I did. Right? Because if he captures, we capture with the pawn now. Open him up. Now, very serious problems for him, so he had to play the move b5. What else he can try to do? If he opens up the position, it's a suicide. At least this way he can be happy as far as not losing the knight, because he has a b3 square or c6 he can go to. So now e4. I think this knight would really appreciate this square and the entrance to the d3. And if the knight reaches d3, the game is over. See, this is the kind of move that you need to try to find in a middle game that will increase your position. Look for this kind of opportunities, because knight wants to be on d3, but he cannot really be there unless you play this precisely. e4, knight e5, knight d3. So that's why it's a very important idea for you to do that. So e4, he goes here, queen b6. The reason I did that because now I'm attacking the knight. If knight moves away, I can take on c4 with a check. So I'm forcing him to play this move, only move. What else he can do? And then I continue with my move. I want to make him difficult for him to take on d4, because then I go c takes d4. And then attacking the queen. So it's a very difficult position for him. Takes, c takes d4. So it goes king b1. And now,
about
knight d3, or how about this? What is your rook doing on c8, guys? Not too much anymore, right? So what we got to do, we got to bring it in and put pressure on the rook. Rook cd8. Again, this entire game, I don't know if you realize, it's just improving the pieces gradually to their maximum. And now I'm obtaining the file, the d file here, because now if he captures, I go c takes d4. Now look at that. Look at that entire control of the d file now we have. Well, I could go knight d3, but I figure, well, he has also knight c6. So I figured, how about we loosen up the position? No? a6, weak pawn, let's open up his king. He had to do something like this. Knight d3 now comes in. If we had gone knight d3 here, he would have gone knight c6. Why allow the knight to come in, right? Let the knight be passive. And we come in. If he takes, we take cd now. Very powerful. He plays a4. We take, he takes. Now, I went back here. This way now I'm winning his one of the rooks. So he'll be just completely losing if I take, so he took on e4. Now, I mentioned this before in my lectures, and if you've seen it, when you have a good move, what do? Look for a better one. Here, knight takes c1 is good, no question. White is probably losing here. But when you see something like this, look for a better one. And what is the better one? What am I referring to here? Grandmaster move, very good. That's a long-range move. Okay, queen g6, excellent move. Now attacking the rook, very good job. f3, and only then I take. He takes, rook d4. It was still not too late to make a really terrible move like this and lose the game after rook g4.
Oh, wow.
Again, we see another poison pawn, right? Same poison pawn twice in this game. Remember, first time you suggested it to take, and now I suggested this trap I wanted to show you actually. So you could really lose the game if you play the wrong move, okay? So just be aware of that. Poison pawn, guys. Don't take the pawns. So let's improve the rook. We take. Now I took the pawn on g2 because now his entire pawn structure is weak, and now I'm ready to collect some more pawns. The only thing I need to worry about the passed pawn on b file, okay? But since his king is weak, he won't be able to do much with that. So he goes queen c2, check, queen e1. Now completely controlling the entire position. He cannot take on c5, rook d2 wins. So he goes queen c3, let it check. Activate a little bit more. Now if he goes queen c3, I'm going to get ready to play rook d3. Yes?
I have a question.
Sure.
Why wouldn't you trade off the queens if you have like a rook?
Because I have a weak pawn on c5. If I lose this pawn, he's going to have two connected passed pawns. And I could even lose the game. Now I'm still probably winning if I take and play rook c8, but Whose queen is more active? Whose king is more weak? Then why should we exchange queens, right? His king is weak. If I had a trivial win, yes, I would exchange queens, but then it's still technical, okay? It's not trivial, the win. So that's why we don't have to, don't always think the standard way, or always exchange queens if you're ahead. Sometimes you also have to see what is going on the board. So he goes here. He really doesn't have moves. This is a suksa one. If he plays b6, rook b8 is winning. Rook b8. So he goes here, attack. Now we increase our advantage. He decided to push. What else he can do? Slowly but surely, I'm collecting more pawns now. That is, by the way, this doesn't work if he takes. I have queen d4 check. And so he pushed this one, and now I'm pinned. So what we need to do? Unpin the pin, check. And now, let's eliminate his last hope, this asset here. Once we win this last pawn, he's going to be down. Excellent. He goes here. And now, what move is important to play first, guys? We want to go rook b6, but rook b6 allowing knight a5. So what are you going to do first? Check. And now?
Now you can play rook b6.
Excellent thinking. Check, rook b6, and Grandmaster Becerra resigned. And this victory clinched the match for me, because I made it 3.5 to half. So it was a 6-game match. So the last 2 games were drawn. So I won the match 4.5 to 1.5. So it was a good result for me. Okay, guys, excellent. Okay, so this was a French defense game. You saw the ideas. How after the opening I tried to slowly improve the position, try to get an advantage. This, if you want to look at this game, you can search Becerra Akobian game 2014 match game number 4. Okay. But, this is, I think, a good game. One of the recent good games I played in a French defense, and just try to, if a position was equal, but I slowly try to improve my position to score a win. Okay?
So it seems like for white, look from the other side, the error.
Knight a5 was the error. Yeah. I mean, it's just the match situation was probably forcing him to play for a win, but basically that's what happened. If he had taken on b6, it's very likely the game would have ended in a draw. I don't have any problem. But after knight a5, it just became this mix, where I was not worse and I slowly outplayed him. So
what you identified was that to keep the knight over there would give you the advantage.
Yeah, knight on the rim is dim. That's one more time we saw at a very high level game that when you put the knight on the rim, you could be in trouble. All right, great. Thanks, guys, for coming. And if you can make it, please come on Thursday. We have good lectures for Thursday, 2 lectures. So we'll have I'm back in town for a couple of more weeks. So we'll be glad to see you. Okay, thanks for coming.